Hey guys, just having a little look at Bitcoin and ETH today. So obviously Bitcoin's just broken down. It's just swept these lows briefly, but I still think we still have a little bit lower to go. For me currently, this structure, like from these highs, kind of looks like an ABC. I'm still considering it corrective. So for me, the area of interest for a bounce is going to be between the 50 and 61.8 fib. So that is between 52.7k and 50.4k. I'm probably expecting it just to flutter around for a little bit. Maybe go sideways here and then probably spike down again. And then obviously, depending on how strong the bounce is, if it sort of rises from these lows in 5 waves, then we'd look for a 61.8 retrace and then start longing back up to highs. But in the big scheme of things, I still think this entire structure dating from the 20th of Feb, I mean, sorry, from the 21st of Feb is the same part, is all the same structure. So I still think this is like, even though sort of we came down and then made this marginal new high, I still think this structure here is all kind of part of the same structure. So how it plays out in the long run, I dare say for me, I think currently I'm leaning towards like a sort of sideways triangle. The reason being is because of the wave structure. So obviously, we know in Elliott wave, a triangle is a 3-3-3-3 structure, or a 3-wave move like an ABC is part of a corrective structure. So the key takeaway for me is obviously this looks like an ABC, so that would be the first, and then the only way I can personally figure out a way to count this is an ABC. It doesn't look like a 5-wave move to me. So even though it went to a new high, it's still, because there's only a 3-wave move, it doesn't look like a motive wave. So I think it's part of a larger structure still. So obviously if we have this as an ABC, that would be the A wave. So I guess it would be like ABC, 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 and then break up. So I do think, this will probably end up being like a triangle like this. I'll just try and draw it a bit better. So A, B, C, D, E, and then we go to breakout. The other possibility is a running flat as well. So obviously, just going to declutter this a little bit. So running flat is where is like an ABC structure where the B wave goes above the start of the A and then it comes back down. So that would look like this. A running flat would kind of mean a structure like this, and then we go up again. So I don't think, anyway, the long story short is I don't think that this decline is kind of, the start of a bear market or anything like that. I definitely think that this whole structure is the one structure starting from here. So I think this is going to be like I guess you could call it a reaccumulation range. It just means that this was a fake out. So this leg down is still part of the ultimate C wave. And then the next move is going to be sort of upward. So if it is a triangle, it'll probably, consolidate for a much longer period of time before it eventually breaks out. So that would mean we're kind of only halfway through it. But for now, the key takeaway for me is, focusing on this ABC down. So obviously, the key fib levels are the 50 and the 61.8. So the 50 is a little bit lower. So I don't think we've bottomed out yet. I still want to see Bitcoin head a little bit lower. And basically also ETH to me is a bit clearer. So obviously we had this dip, but this rise from the 28th of February is a clear 5-wave structure to me. So we obviously have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and obviously we're doing an ABC down now. So we're basically, in the final innings of this C wave down. Same deal again, as with Bitcoin. We haven't even reached the 50 fib yet. So for me, the 50 fib would be the bare minimum target retracement for an ABC. So even though it kind of looks like an ABC, I just don't think it's finished yet. So if we've zoomed in and we tried to sort of decipher this ABC, obviously we have a 5-wave decline here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for A. Then we had an ABC up, and then obviously this is a wave 3 down. So I think we're in the wave 3 of the C now, and we're probably going to come up for a little bit, maybe form like a triangle like this, and then ultimately we're going to come down again for one more wave lower. So F is actually the clearer of the two. Obviously I laid out two potential ways we can count Bitcoin, but for me F is just a little bit clearer. I like the structure more. We had that clear 5-wave rise from the lows, so buying this 50 to 61.8. So like I think, you know, scaling in between the 50 and the 61.8 is probably what I intend to do. I'm undecided yet whether I'm going to just flat out buy those levels or wait for a bounce first. I'm still not sure, but the invalidation for that would be, if you're just going to knife catch, the invalidation would be below these 5 waves. So even if you bought the 61.8 fib, you're still running a fairly wide stop. You'd still be running, you know, 17% stop. So that's the trade-off for knife catching. You know, obviously, you know, like for me personally, like you have to set your stop loss at the invalidation levels, no matter how wide that is. So obviously, we'll be targeting a new high. You know, we'd be targeting about between 2.5 to 3K. So the RR would still be worth it. But the trade-off is, you know, just knife catching a level. Sure, you set your stop at invalidation, you're still fairly confident. But when the trade-off between that and waiting for the bounce, so let's say, you know, we wait, sort of does sideways here, comes down, wicks this, and you get a strong buyback. If you wait for the bounce first, then you can set your stop below the rejection. So obviously if it wicked below the 61.8 form, like a really strong bullish hammer or something, you could run a much tighter stop loss just below that wick. Whereas if you're just knife catching a level, you don't know if it's actually going to bounce or not there. So you need to set your stop loss lower. So that's the trade-off. I don't know how I'm going to play this yet. I'm still undecided. But I do think that this ABC down is going to be for buying, and after that, once we do start to bounce, I do think, you know, it's going to be a move to new all-time highs from here. So we got this nice 5-wave rise from these lows, and I think we're just doing a 61.8 ABC retrace here, and then the next move will be to new all-time highs. So ETH looks a little bit different from Bitcoin. All in all, it's kind of the same structure. We're still expecting them both to come down a bit more and then go higher. So that's pretty much what I'm seeing for Bitcoin and ETH. Obviously, Bitcoin's more complex. There's a few different scenarios. Only because Bitcoin's less. For starters, Bitcoin made a new high, and the structure isn't the same as ETH. It's not a clear 5 wave, so they're slightly different in the way you'd count them. But all in all, I think ultimately they're both going to be going higher, and this move down is still still a corrective move, probably within a larger corrective move. I think this whole move starting from the 21st of February is one large corrective move, and it may even we might only be halfway through it. If this ends up being a triangle, you know, we're probably only halfway through it before it eventually breaks out. So so yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts and basically my plan of attack moving forward. Sweet as. Cheers guys, bye.